All right, good morning, everybody. Meteorologist David Bernard here with some unpleasant updates this morning, not so much as it applies to us here in Southeast Louisiana, but rather as it applies to our friends and our family in Southwest Louisiana. This morning, just making sure also that everybody can hear me since audio, well, I can hear myself feeding back here, so I guess that's working great. Listen, what we are facing this morning is perhaps the most destructive storm to ever strike Southwest Louisiana. The only two storms that are comparable, and I talked about them last night, those were Rita in 2005 that we all remember, and Audrey in 1957. But it's going to depend on the exact tract on where it comes in and where that radius of maximum winds impact Lake Charles. But one thing's for sure, the storm surge is now being described as unsurvivable. They are calling for more than 20 feet of surge. This could be records in the southwest part of the state. And I just hope at this hour that anybody that has been told to evacuate has evacuated, because we are looking at really the most serious type of hurricane threat that you can possibly imagine. There is the storm this morning. We have a new hurricane hunter that is on its way into Laura. The pressure has been dropping all night long. Notice we are able to see a clear spot in the eye right now, and with the eye clearing out, that indicates that the storm is likely continuing to get stronger. If the storm continues to strengthen as it approaches the coast, that is going to push the maximum amount of water, the maximum amount of wind into extreme southeastern Texas, and particularly into southwest Louisiana. There was the last fix on the 10 o'clock advisory, right where you see the category 3 there. So basically right over the eye, and it is continuing on that northwest movement. You can see it has not really veered from it at all. There was a little wobble here last night. That's to be expected. But now it's resumed that northwest movement toward the Louisiana-Texas state line. Bro, thanks for tuning in for Pierre Part and Lindsay. I see you guys in Homa. We're going to get to Terrebonne Parish right now. The water is coming up rapidly, and the time to get out of the lower parish outside the Terrebonne levee protection system is just about gone. They are taking on water very quickly down there that I just saw from Terrebonne Emergency Management. Here was the update at 10 a.m. Again, another one will be coming at 1 this afternoon. This pressure, 956. It may be even lower than that now. It's 225 south-southeast of Lake Charles. Winds are now 125 miles per hour. This is a Category 3 storm. Here is the scary part. The forecast is for a 145 mile per hour storm to be approaching the Louisiana coastline later on this evening. This is a life-threatening storm. I'm trying to think back now. I'm trying to remember a storm. Katrina was enormous. Katrina was weakening as far as winds go on landfall as a Category 3. And certainly there's nothing on record in southwest Louisiana of this intensity. They have not had a Category 5 landfall, and they may not have had a Category 4 landfall in the modern record that we can recall. So certainly since Audrey in 1957, this would be the strongest on record. Here's the other part of the story, gang. This is going to go straight up the Sabine in western Louisiana, and this could be a hurricane all the way into North Louisiana. There are going to be tremendous power outages all across western Louisiana, impacting places as far east as Alexandria and even Monroe. We could be looking at power outages there, as I'm expecting tropical storm conditions. Baton Rouge, we may have minor power outages as far east as there. A dramatic look on the satellite picture. This is our visible and a very defined eye. Laura has grown into a large hurricane, now covering the entire northwestern Gulf of Mexico. God, you know, last week I saw this pattern developing, and I said to our management, I said, this is the most dangerous hurricane pattern for Louisiana, a building high over the Bahamas, building to the west. I was terrified that something like this may happen. And it's not our storm, but it is our state storm, and it is our country storm. And I just fear for what's going to be ahead in the days, weeks, and months ahead for this part of the state. This is really becoming a textbook classic major hurricane. Kayla is on a boat. Your husband works on a boat in Port Fourchon. Well, hopefully that's not happening today. Yep, we got to pray for Chauvin, Dulac, everybody there down the bayou below Homa. They're going to maybe take on as much as 7 feet of surge, it looks like, in some of the hardest hit areas. Here are the wind warnings, and this really emphasizes just how severe this hurricane is going to be. The hurricane warning extends all the way past Alexandria. All right. I mean, this extends well inland. And if you go, in fact, if we go farther to the north, the tropical storm force warnings, look at this. They go all the way to Shreveport and Monroe. So anywhere, if you have a tropical storm warning, you can have power outages. And we know how many trees there are. In fact, the hurricane warning has now been extended to basically Shreveport. It extends right to Shreveport. That's the northern extent of it there. Now, if we come back down to southeast Louisiana, our wind situation has not changed. Tropical storm warnings are for the coastal areas. That's where we're most likely going to see sustained tropical storm force winds. But what we're concerned about is the water, not the wind so much, although we could have some power outages in the coastal areas. Since midnight, our wind gusts have started to increase. 37 at the airport. Fourchon is 41, 31 at Belle Chase. I expect everyone in the metro area included will see wind gusts over 40 during the course of their time. This is the cone and wind threat area. This is a new product I started rolling out for this storm, and I want to give full credit to my former colleague in Miami, Craig Setzer at CBS Miami, came up with this, and it is an excellent way to convey what the hurricane threat is besides the cone. You know, the cone is kind of becoming antiquated. The cone is good to relay where the center of the storm might be. But as we've said for years, it doesn't tell you what weather you're actually going to get. This shows you, at least from a wind perspective, what kind of weather you can expect. So let's spool this graphic out. Now here's the old cone, right? That's what you guys are used to seeing. The red areas are the likely extent of hurricane force conditions, and the yellow is the likely extent of tropical storm conditions. So here we are at 10 o'clock tonight, and notice tropical storm conditions likely Terrebonne Parish, maybe even Lafourche, and then obviously the hurricane conditions spreading into southwest Louisiana overnight tonight, and then this would be into Thursday morning. You could see hurricane force gusts as far east as Lafayette, certainly Beaumont. Houston looks like minimal impacts at this time. They're going to be on the west side of the storm and probably far enough away that it'll be a breezy, kind of gusty wind day, kind of like what we're seeing. But also, I want to point out, look, here's Baton Rouge to Homa. That's where there's likely to be tropical storm force winds. So power outages could be a problem. River parishes, let's say western river parishes, St. James Parish, not so much St. Charles, but St. James, Upper Lafourche, and also Terrebonne, based on our wind threat area that you're seeing here. And so the total chances between now and Thursday, there's the cutoff for tropical storm force winds. Now, even though we're not shaded in here, yes, there'll be some gusts to tropical storm force over 40, but as far as it blowing 40 miles per hour or greater for an extended time, that does not look like what's going to be happening in our area. So just a very scary scenario shaping up in southwest Louisiana. Okay, let's see here. Get to my next slide. There we go. Is that the next one that I wanted? Let's see here. I think I've got another one. Yeah, we did. We blew past a couple. Let's see here. All right, let's go. This is the wind speed probabilities. And this is another way of showing what I was showing you guys a minute ago, although I think the other way is better, but you can tell that our chances 19% Covington, New Orleans, unlikely to see tropical storm force winds of 39 miles per hour or greater. Even Homa has dropped off, but Baton Rouge is at 55%. And so, that's a pretty decent chance that they're going to at least see some tropical storm gust across the area. Here is our power outage index, and the power outage index is indicating obviously widespread power outages likely. And look, this includes St. Mary. All right. And we're going to get to surge in a minute. We could have life threatening, damaging surge into St. Mary. This is going to be a major storm for the Atchafalaya Basin, massive power outages. And there's a pretty moderate to high chance that these outages extend from Baton Rouge to Homa, at least for some people, based on those tropical storm force wind gusts that I was telling you about. Notice our chances are lower as we go into southeast Louisiana. Let's talk about the water. All right, this is extreme, brand new numbers just updated from the Hurricane Center storm surge modeling. Southwest Louisiana, 15 to 20 feet of water above ground, 10 to 12 feet just to the east of there. Now we head into the Atchafalaya Bay, and for St. Mary Parish, 8 to 12 feet, life-threatening, destructive surges all the way to St. Mary Parish. Now, for west of the river, we've raised the inundation to 7 feet now. So some spots, water 7 feet is high or above ground, and it wouldn't surprise me if some of the back bays in here in Lower Terrebonne actually had more water than that. No change east of the river. And for Lake Pontchartrain, I looked last night, and Lake Pontchartrain was already 2.5 feet above normal. So 4 seems perfectly reasonable. And we do know that there has been and will continue to be flooding increasing on the North Shore and north and northeast facing shores of Lake Pontchartrain as those south winds continue to pile into the area. Let's talk about high tides west of the river. The most critical high tide is tomorrow morning, because the most intense part of the wind and the water is coming overnight tonight. So water will be reaching maximum heights overnight tonight and going into Thursday morning. Cocodrie and Grand Isle, high tides coming around 5 in the morning. So the tide levels will be building throughout the night as the hurricane is making landfall. So this is a reasonable worst case scenario water level. I do think these water levels are going to be met in a lot of locations. Now, we have lower amounts east of the river, but still important. High tides Thursday morning for Breton Island, 6:01. Mississippi Gulf Coast, also at 6 in the morning. That's for Hancock and Harrison counties. Shell Beach, 6:30 in the morning, and including the Wrigley's, Venetian Isles, and Lake Catherine. Again, as much as 4 feet above ground, dry ground, and high tides at 11 in the morning. And then the high tide coming Thursday afternoon north of the lake. So we're going to have water problems all day tomorrow, all across southeast Louisiana, including during the night tonight. Here is another shot of a large hurricane, and dramatic images here at the end. You guys look right there. You see that? How the eye is starting to clear out. We're heading for Category 4 based on that radar presentation, likely heading Category 4 if it's not already there. Again, that is the forecast, a 145 mile per hour storm expected to impact southwest Louisiana. Okay, let's talk about the tornado risk for today and tonight. This is a prime example of what's going on. We've got a pretty strong feeder band that is in down in coastal Terrebonne, west of Grand Isle. That's sort of rotating towards St. Mary Parish. As we see these outer rain bands progressively increase and moving from the south, that's where we're going to have the risk of possibly seeing a brief tornado or two, torrential downpours, and also some lightning. So here is our tornado risk for today, and especially for tonight. Most of southwest and south central Louisiana. So we're in a level 2 slight risk That includes a lot of the Fox 8 viewing area. And it basically is that line where we're expecting tropical storm force wind gusts from Baton Rouge to Gramercy, Homa, and then extending down into lower Lafourche. That's a level 2 risk for tornadoes through today and tonight. And then the rest of the Fox 8 viewing area, we're in green, including St. Tammany and Metro New Orleans, a level 1 marginal risk that we could see a few spin-ups. We've had a flash flood watch issued into Thursday. The heaviest rain expected west of the lake. So once again, those same parishes I just mentioned, you guys are currently under the flood watch. Corinne wants to know, is Mandeville in the clear unless you're at the immediate lakefront, Corinne, where we're expecting to have inundation that's already occurring. We're mainly on the lookout for a few strong storms and maybe some heavy rain as we go into Thursday. And Brian, thank you for that. They just posted a tornado warning for Baton Rouge and Livingston. So there you have it. These bands already, and especially since the storm is going to be so strong, is going to have that potential. All right, here's rain potential as we go into Friday. Obviously, 5 to 10 inches of rain, all of western Louisiana along the track of the hurricane. That's the official track there, that center white line. Now, if we shift over into southeast Louisiana, it's the same story as with storm surge and wind and tornado risk. The farther east, the less impact is to be expected. But this is widespread 1 to 2 inches of rain here, which means locally we could easily have 3 or 4 inches, maybe even more, if a feeder band gets stuck. A feeder band is less likely to get stuck if we go a little bit farther back toward the east. So that's why the flood watch isn't up for New Orleans, at least for now. Let's see. I'm having a question handed to me. A lot of people asking that? Okay. A lot of people are asking me, Charlie coming in and providing the assist there. A lot of people want to know, could there be a last minute turn toward the east? No, that's not going to happen. But let's go back and use a visual aid here. In fact, the best thing to show for that would be the visible satellite picture. Let me scroll through my maps here. Let's put this up here. All right. Okay, so, and also I'm going to I should get my steering map up for you guys as well. Gosh, this satellite, the last few minutes, this is, oh my gosh, it's just kind of taking my breath away what we're looking at here. I mean, I've seen movies like this before. Let's zoom in on this. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is terrible. You guys see what's happening on the last couple of images here, how that eye is clearing out. We've got our strong high to the east though. All right. So there is no last minute turn. The storm has passed 90 degrees longitude where we are, and it's continuing to move. So you see how that eye is clearing out. I mean, this thing is still strengthening and heading to the northwest. So guys, it is not our storm in the sense that we are not having a direct impact. What's going to happen here is basically what I've been telling you guys for the last 30 minutes, is that we're going to have to worry about some isolated tornadoes. There could be some flooding problems in spots, not just today, but also tomorrow as the tail of the storm does get stuck over us. That is definitely going to be a concern as Laura continues to push inland. But obviously the devastation is southwest Louisiana and possibly the upper Texas coast around the Beaumont, Port Arthur area. So that's kind of how things look right now. I'm going to be getting ready. And yes, Chris, Cat 4 when it makes landfall. Yes, Dana, we all love Charlie as well. And Andrea says it looks like Katrina. Well, it does start to look like Katrina when Katrina was at its peak over the Central Gulf. Now, God forbid this goes to a Category 5. I mean, they're forecasting 145, which was a strong 4. It's bad enough as it is. But that's the status now. Shelby Latino back at the Fox 8 Weather Center monitoring for tornadoes. I'm going to be in the next couple of hours. We're going to be taking you through the storm for the next 48 hours as we could have heavy rain during the day tomorrow. Obviously, that is a factor that we're going to have to watch as well as mainly the rain, and the chance for spotty tornadoes. And of course, we have crews in coastal areas covering the water that is fast coming up outside the levee protection area. As a last minute message, please, if you're in coastal parishes and you have been asked to evacuate, especially folks west of the river, Grand Isle, Terrebonne, Lafourche, and coastal Jefferson, heed the advice of emergency managers. The time is running out as the water is quickly rising. Chief Meteorologist David Bernard. I'll have more today from the Fox 8 Weather Center.